I read something about Global Force Wrestling. Are you signed with them still, or how's that?
Yeah, I'm at the stage in my career where there's a lot of things going on. Like wrestling is really going great for me, but at the same time, I'm getting up there in age, as they say, a little bit. My body's great. I think I can fight for another 5-10 years, but do I want to? No, absolutely not. So I think right now that everything's hot right now, and fighting's hot right now, and I think that I have the ability to go out there and just take it all. So if I do, I'm going to have to kind of pull away from wrestling a little bit, and that's what I've been sitting down with my manager. We've been talking about it and saying, hey, is this the time to kind of pull back a little bit and then focus all on MMA? But then with that being said, I got to go over to the MMA side and say, are you guys going to take care of me? Because I'm willing to do this. Are you going to take care of me? And I don't know if they're going to do it. I know the wrestling side will give you whatever you need. So I'm trying to kind of cater to the fans, but cater to the promoters at the same time.
Well, have you spoken to Scott Coker about it yet, or Bellator?
I have. I flew there about a year ago, and we sat down, we had a talk, and tried to come up with a game plan. But at the same time, I live in Denver. So the mecca for me to train is going to be in Florida with the American Top Team, or I can go out to California and train with Josh Barnett. However, I have kids and everything else. The big thing for me is if I had a coach that would come to Denver, I'd pay him full time and I'd train with him full time. Because right now I'm kind of choppy with my training. When it gets to a fight, when I sign the fight, then I go down and I'm going back and forth. But I'm a single father, so it has to be a little more strategic for me.
But what about Dwayne Ludwig? And I think like Rose Namajunas, she trains down there too, and Pat Barry.
I don't think Rose will be a great partner for me. I think she's small.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the coaches,
I like Dwayne as a coach, but I reached out to Dwayne a long time ago, and Dwayne's busy. I mean, he really is. He has his hands full. He has a new gym. He has a handful of fighters. And that's the thing. There's some great coaches out there, but then they have a lot of people. Like I worked with Mark Montoya a lot and Fareed Samad. I mean, some of those guys, they're great trainers, but Mark Montoya has a whole gym, and he has probably about 50, 60 fighters. So for me to squeeze in there, I don't want to say I'm a bit of a prima donna, but I like attention. If Mark had the time to give me a little bit more attention, I'd love to work with him more. But right now, and I love Mark to death. I think he's a great coach. I think Dwayne's a great coach. I think Fareed's a great coach. But when you talk about some of these high-level coaches, they have a lot of people. So I'm kind of wishing I can have somebody that I can be married to and then be straight my person.
But would you be open to maybe moving somewhere else, like say Jackson Wink, Albuquerque, or even here in Las Vegas?
I can't do it. That's one thing that I said when I started my career in wrestling and in fighting, is I will never leave my kids. And right now I'm a single father, and I have my kids 50% of the time, and my kids are my driving force for anything that I do. I will sacrifice for my kids. I will not leave my kids.
No, that's very admirable and respectable. But so with Bellator, how long is your contract for?
Forever. No. I think I have another year on the contract.
Yeah, and I mean it's funny because how you mentioned that you kind of want to focus more on MMA, and I was going to ask you because I've noticed that you've been fighting basically like once a year, and I want to see, I mean, is that by choice or was it just because of your pro wrestling requirements in the past too?
Well, I mean, the last year I fought a couple more. This is the only year that I really fought once. And that was because, I mean, there's a lot of things that come into play. One, the heavyweight division in Bellator is kind of all over the place. They're bringing guys in and guys are moving out, and it's not that much competition there. So I don't know if they had a fight ready for me. That's the first part. Another part is, look, let's break it down. Brock, some of these guys that are bigger money fights, Punk and everything. I'm the same thing as all those guys. And what they did is they invested in him. Brock built a place right next to his house, brought people in, and he was able to go. Man, if I had an ounce of that investment into me going into it, I can do the same thing. I have the ability. I'm not somebody that, I'm just going to take a fight and then here, throw a whole bunch of money at me. I'm a person that I've shown you that has 17 fights, so the dedication's there. They've seen me progress in my career from my striking, from my jiu-jitsu, from my wrestling. Everything's gotten better. So I don't know why the hell they won't just invest in me. Invest in me. Build me a place outside my place. Let me bring a bunch of fighters in so that I can train full time. I've been basically fighting 17 fights off of basically just me saying, all right, kids, I'm going to go and fight this guy for money for the kids. I have the ability. I would like the backing. If I had the backing, then sky's the limit for me.
Speaking of the heavyweight roster in Bellator, they did sign quite a few more names. I mean, with the addition, obviously, with Fedor and how he just fought Matt Mitrione, they just signed Roy Nelson and Frank Mir. Do any of those names interest you at all?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll fight anyone. I mean, it's not even a question as to who I want to fight. I didn't step into fighting saying, all right, I want to pick this guy and pick this guy. It's like, hey, here I go. I'm the same as everyone else. And the reason why people are calling me out is because they know that I'm the money fight. Now, if I'm the money fight, why don't they invest into me and start making some of these money fights happen? Mir, I'll fight. Roy Nelson, I'll fight. Chet Congo, I'll fight. Mitrione, I'll fight. Fedor, I'll fight. I'm saying this right now, and I've said it every time. But I'm not going to fight those guys off of, hey, let me call you up, and then, hey, 6 weeks, we want you to come down. And then I got to try to, like, pull people together, and I got to ask this guy, I got to drive over here, I got to fly over here. That's not right. I mean, everybody says it's wrestling. It's not wrestling. Wrestling gives me complete time. The next time I got to be back is November 4th. So from now until November 4th, I don't have nothing to do but train, and that's all I do is train. But a lot of times I'm training by myself, and then I have a strength and conditioning coach, or I get somebody to come and hold mitts for me for a day or two, and then they'll take off, and then I have guys that'll come in, I'll wrestle with those guys, and I'll do different things with these guys. I got an amazing jiu-jitsu partner out in Colorado, Alex Huddleston, which is, I regard, probably one of the best jiu-jitsu players right now. So as far as that, I'm good, but everything else I got to put together, and that's the hard part. So as soon as I put my name on the dotted line, that's when I start like, all right, I'm going to fly down to Coconut Creek for a couple weeks. I'm going to go over to Josh Barnett in California a couple weeks. So that's not how fighters are. I can't get in there with the ring with the guy that's training every single day, 2 times a day. It's just not the same game.
But you haven't expressed these opinions to Scott yet, though, right?
I've done it a whole bunch of times. I mean, but like I say, and like what you said, is like a lot of people are coming in, so attention spread thin. I don't want to be one of those guys that are needy all the time. That's not what I am. I'm one of those guys that I'm like, I'll give you what you want. And when they call me, I really try to put it together. I don't tell them yes, I don't tell them no. I say, let's see if I can make it happen. And then I start piecing it together. Like they call me now about a fight in December 16th. I said, I'd love to do it. I'll start putting it together. But that's all, it's putting it together. And if we can, I'd love to do it. They talked about the tournament. Tournament's starting up pretty soon. I said, I'd love to do it. But, you know, the dedication. Can we do it?
And who did they offer you December 16th?
Don't know. All he called me, I mean, literally, and this is how it happens a lot of times. Literally, it was like December 16th, Newcastle main event.
Oh, mystery opponent, right?
Yeah. If I'm fighting this guy, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, some random dude, I'll fight him because I can probably beat most of the guys off of not even training, which I've done several fights. But once we start getting the high-level guys, I mean, just a little tweak in my. I mean, you see, the thing is a lot of people that have trained with me know that I have the ability. I'll go to a camp where these guys are training all the time, and I'll jump in a camp with them, and they're like, damn, you have ability. I'm like, I haven't trained in months, so.
I mean, and we do see it, your ability and through your records and your past fights, but to kind of, get you that big money fight that you say, or a lot of people do call you out, who would you say would be most beneficial for you?
That's the question, because when it goes to that, it goes to popularity. Like Floyd fought Conor, and Floyd wasn't going to fight Conor for a while because he said you need to build it up. As far as people that I think are big money fights for me, I mean, it's not in Bellator, but Brock is definitely a big one. I like Mir. Mir's a great name. Fedor. I think Fedor is probably the biggest name that I can look for over there. Because outside of that, I don't want somebody else to use me as a boost for them. It doesn't make any sense, and that doesn't do anything for me. I don't want to look back and say, who can I get? I want to look forward and see who can pull me up. So I think I should do a fight with one of the boxers. I'll do a boxing match.
Any names in mind? Anthony Joshua? It seems a lot of people have been calling him out.
I'll call him out too, but we're going to do an MMA. Or I'll do a really big money fight in boxing.
Or what about getting into pro wrestling against him?
That would be great. I mean, in pro wrestling, we always want guys that have, a big name and some ability. And I mean, he has a great name, great look, and great ability. So, sure, he'd be a great candidate.
And so you mentioned Brock, and you're a former WWE superstar. I mean, how likely could that fight happen?
I think that fight's probably going to happen in a pro wrestling ring.
Do you think it's likely though?
I think so. I think so. Because at the end of the day, right now, Brock, they're just fishing for people. They're trying to build random guys up. Oh, this guy's really big, so we can put him against this guy. Or this guy is really popular, so we can put him against this guy. But at the end of the day, the crowd's like, yeah, he's big, but Brock's going to kill him. Oh, he's got a good fan base, but Brock's going to kill him. Oh, he's a legend, but Brock's going to kill him. With me, I stand up at Brock and I walk in Brock's face, and me and Brock never met before. Never. So they're like, the wrestling ability, we can have a match. We don't have to do 2 minutes or 3 minutes. We can have a 20, 30-minute match because we're equal. I think that a lot of the things that Brock's been dominating other people at, I'm going to equalize that. So I think it'll be a good match. And I think some way, they're going to put it together to make it happen.
But do you think, like, would you have to re-sign with the WWE for it?
Floyd didn't sign with the UFC to make it happen. And Conor didn't sign with Mayweather's promotion and didn't make it happen. So I don't necessarily think that we need to sign or change or anything like that. But you know what? If that's where it has to be, then that's something we'll have to look at down the road.